Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. In the latest General Hospital spoilers preview for October 10th, one moment seems to be standing out above everything else, and it could very well reshape the direction of multiple storylines moving forward. The focus is on Drew, and what appears to be an unexpected advantage that might have fallen directly into his lap, courtesy of Willow. This isn't a twist that many fans saw coming, but as always with Port Charles, when one door closes, another one cracks open just enough for someone to push through and change the playing field entirely. Let's walk carefully through what's been happening with Drew lately, because context is crucial to understanding why Willow's decision, or perhaps her accidental misstep, could be so important. Drew has been navigating some of the roughest waters of his life, dealing with prison fallout, health complications, and a sense of betrayal from people he once thought were solidly in his corner. His resilience has always been one of his strongest traits, but lately, even that has been tested in ways we rarely see. He's a man who has been underestimated before, and that has almost always been a mistake by those around him. If Willow has, even unknowingly, shifted the balance of power toward him, then we may be about to see Drew regain a level of control that many assumed was long gone. Willow's role in this spoiler preview is fascinating, because she isn't typically a character who gets involved in power plays or strategic maneuvers. She has always leaned more toward empathy, compassion, and a desire to keep peace rather than stirring conflict. So the very suggestion that she may have handed Drew an advantage is intriguing. Was this deliberate, or is she unintentionally setting something in motion that could have ripple effects across Port Charles? Spoilers don't always tell us outright whether a character knows the consequences of their actions, but that ambiguity is exactly what keeps fans hooked. To really dig into this, we have to think about what Willow values most right now. Her family, her children, her health, and her relationships with Michael and Nina are all tangled up in the mess that has surrounded her since her cancer storyline and her long recovery. She's someone who has been caught between opposing forces more than once, and she's often had to make choices that seemed right for the moment, only to discover later that those choices created cracks in her foundation. If Drew is the one benefiting from her most recent move, it suggests that Willow either trusted him with something others didn't know, or she shared information that can shift alliances in ways we haven't yet considered. Imagine Willow in a vulnerable conversation, perhaps letting her guard down with Drew in a way she doesn't with many others. That could easily result in Drew gaining access to details he can leverage. Maybe she revealed something about Nina's ongoing behavior, or about Michael's divided loyalties. Maybe it's something about Sunny's business dealings, or about the Quartermain family's internal struggles. Any one of those topics could provide Drew with a fresh angle, and if Drew has one thing, it's the ability to take a small piece of information and build it into a full-blown strategy. This advantage might not even be about corporate power or personal vendettas at first glance. It could be about simple trust. Willow has been guarded, careful, and extremely protective of her inner circle. If she gave Drew her trust in a key moment, that itself becomes a weapon he can use, whether intentionally or not. Drew is a man who knows what it feels like to be left in the dark, and he doesn't take those rare moments of loyalty lightly. The more he realizes Willow is willing to stand with him, the more empowered he becomes, especially after months of feeling cornered. The spoilers suggest this moment could tip the scales in Drew's favor, but favor against who? That's the burning question. Is this an advantage over Nina, who continues to navigate her precarious place in the family despite her marriage to Sunny? Is it an advantage over Michael, who sometimes struggles to balance his love for Willow with his need to control outcomes? Could it even be an advantage against Carly's rivals, since Drew's close connection to Carly always places him in the middle of her battles as well? The ripple effect is broad, and that's what makes this spoiler so juicy, because the potential outcomes are endless. One of the most interesting layers to this is the possibility that Willow herself doesn't realize what she's done. Think about it. If Willow simply offered Drew comfort, or shared her opinion in a vulnerable moment, she might not realize she's given him ammunition. Drew, on the other hand, is someone who sees patterns, someone who reads between the lines, and he may be able to piece together a bigger picture from something that seems small or harmless to Willow. That dynamic is what makes storylines like this so rich. The audience knows a storm is coming, but the characters might not even see the clouds yet. Now, let's consider Drew's state of mind. He's been battered, but he hasn't been broken. His time in Pentonville left scars, both physical and emotional. He's been carrying a weight that others around him sometimes underestimate. But Drew is not the kind of man to stay down forever. He's calculating when he needs to be, and when he senses an opening, he takes it. If Willow has indeed given him that opening, then Drew may be preparing to strike in a way that shakes everyone in his orbit. The advantage could take many forms. If it's information-based, we might see Drew use it in the Quartermain corporate world, helping ELQ push forward in a battle that Ned, Valentine, and others have been deeply entangled in. If it's emotional leverage, it could play into his relationships with Carly or with Michael. If it's connected to Willow's feelings about Nina, it could ignite the ongoing war over whether Nina truly belongs in this family or not. No matter how we frame it, the fact that spoilers highlight this moment as pivotal tells us that Drew's storyline is far from over, and in fact, it may be gearing up for a brand new chapter. How many characters would be impacted if Drew regains momentum? Carly, for one, has been clinging to hope that Drew will find his footing again, but she also fears that every step forward comes with a potential setback. She's protective, but she also knows Drew is his own man, and if he suddenly finds himself in possession of leverage, she'll be among the first to notice how that changes his behavior. Michael, too, would feel the shockwaves, especially if Willow's actions put him at odds with Drew. And Nina, well, any situation that shifts power around her tends to expose her weakest points. Another angle to consider is whether Willow's gift of this advantage was actually orchestrated. Sometimes spoilers leave enough room for speculation that we have to wonder, is Willow acting independently, or could she be nudged by Michael, Nina, or even Sunny? If someone encouraged her to reach out to Drew, then we're looking at a layered scheme where Willow is just the delivery system for a much larger plan. But if she acted alone, then the sincerity of her actions makes the fallout even more unpredictable. Fans will also recall that Willow and Drew have shared moments of mutual respect in the past. There's always been a quiet understanding between them, even if it wasn't front and center in storylines. That bond could be exactly what sets this spoiler into motion. Sometimes the strongest alliances aren't built in boardrooms or battlefields, but in simple moments of connection. If Willow has given Drew one of those moments, then it could blossom into something much larger than either of them expected. We also need to weigh what this means for Drew's enemies. In soap operas, an advantage doesn't stay secret for long. If Drew begins to make moves that suggest he has inside knowledge or renewed strength, others will notice. Valentine might take it as a threat in the business arena. Sunny could view it as a disruption in his fragile balance with Nina. Even people like Ava or Sam could sense the shift and start asking questions. That's how one small spoiler snowballs into an entire arc, because once one person regains footing, the dominoes begin to fall. The language of the preview makes it sound as if Willow is the catalyst, not the main player. That distinction matters. It tells us that Drew is the one who will ultimately wield the advantage, but Willow's role in handing it to him means she'll be connected to the consequences. And that could mean trouble for her. If Michael learns that Willow inadvertently gave Drew leverage that affects his own decisions, there may be tension in their marriage. If Nina suspects Willow of siding with Drew, she could lash out, deepening the rift between them. And if Sunny sees Willow as a player in this game, he might step in to protect Nina's interests. Suddenly Willow, who always tries to avoid the spotlight, is right in the middle of another dramatic storm. All of this adds up to one conclusion. October 10th's General Hospital spoilers preview is warning us to pay attention. Sometimes the most important shifts come not in loud confrontations or dramatic reveals, but in subtle exchanges where trust, loyalty, and vulnerability create openings. Willow may not have meant to hand Drew an advantage, but intention doesn't matter nearly as much as outcome in Port Charles. The outcome here is clear. Drew is about to rise, and when he does, he'll be holding cards no one realized he had. As we move into this next phase, the questions only multiply. What exactly did Willow do or say that gave Drew this edge? How will Drew use it? Who will feel the immediate impact, and who will be blindsided later? The beauty of a spoiler like this is that it doesn't give everything away, but it sets the stage for drama, conflict, and resolution in the weeks to come. And for fans, that's exactly what keeps us tuning in every day. So keep your eyes on Drew. Keep your ears open for Willow's choices, and prepare for the unexpected, because in General Hospital, it's always the quiet moves that end up changing the game. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for all of your updates.